Hello, everyone, and welcome to our last day of internship week. It's been a very exciting week, and we are closing with some outstanding workshops today. Um, Today's session is Make the Most of Your Part-Time Job, Identify Your Transferable Skills. My name is Jan Potsman, and I'm an assistant director at the Career Center, and I oversee internships. And I've had experience with internships for over 20 years. Anna, can you launch the first poll? What is your level of knowledge about transferable or soft skills? Okay, I love to see this dance. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. Great. Okay, it's a tie. We have a tie between 0 to 20% and 40 to 60%. All right, next question. At what level would you be able to discuss your transferable or soft skills in an interview? Okay. All right, let's end the poll. The majority say 20 to 40%. All right, and then we have a mix of the rest. All right, we have one more poll. And how many of you have a part-time job right now?
Everyone.
Okay, a little bit more, and let's close the poll. All right, so the majority have a part-time job. All right, so let's go. Let me close the poll on my screen. And I would like to introduce to you Patricia Gaynor. And Patricia, after spending most of her professional life in design, Patricia Gaynor transitioned to education by starting a career center in a small arts and business college. It was the perfect outlet for her knowledge of graphic arts, fashion, interior design, and business. As an assistant director of the Career Center, CSUN Career Center, Patricia oversees career readiness, and as such, she creates and oversees events, workshops, and panels related to college to work. While working with students and preparing them for entry to the world of work, Patricia discovered a distinct need, that of a professional attire for interviews and career-related functions. She realized that a closet was not only necessary as a means of distributing apparel, but also as a way to educate the student body of how to dress for success. Patricia feels fortunate that Maddie's Closet allowed her the opportunity to use her design and business background in its creation, but most of all, to see the confidence and joy on the faces of the students when they exit the closet with a new outfit. She is most grateful to the student workers, interns, and staff, without whom this huge project could not have happened. I'd like to introduce to you Patricia Gaynor.
Whoopsie, already it's getting in trouble. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I'm really excited to see all of you that are here. Look like you do have part-time jobs. But we'll probably be hitting on the type of jobs you have and perhaps not. And of course, as Jan said, and thank you, Jan, for that introduction. As Jan had said, be sure to use the chat and give us questions as they come to you, or in the end, there'll be some time for that. So yes, we're going to talk about making the most of that part-time job and transferable skills, which it seems a lot of you are familiar with to some degree, which is great. So, okay. All righty, let's see if this is going to let me. go to the next one. Something must be on the screen. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. So to be discussed, we're going to cover your jobs. How about volunteer work? Don't forget that. Will it work against my education? Meaning, does it take up too much time? Is that a way to look at it, or is it part of your education? And what are the benefits of part-time work? That's the most of what we'll be talking about. Those transferable skills, how it'll affect your future career, and what was gained. And of course, always keeping in mind, since this is intern week, how will this relate also to your internship? So of course, the typical part-time jobs, sorry, it's almost lunchtime and there's that pizza, but fast food, retail, office work, warehouse, security, in malls, in office buildings, telemarketing or other telephone work, receptionist, the barista, and now a lot more online work. So benefits of a part-time job. Well, of course, for most of us, it's a way to make money. Is that the number one reason in your head? Only you can answer that. Is it the way to make money, or were you trying to get some more experience? So of course, the upside of it, not only does it make money and help you out, it also eases your mind and possibly makes you debt free, which is a big part of what we worry about all through life, but especially when we're in school. You want to take advantage of your job and learn in every opportunity, ask questions. Even if you think, oh, I'm just selling socks, there's things to be learned, and we'll be talking about that. Customer service, that's something that most employers want to see you had. No matter what you've done, find that you had that customer service, unless you were in a back room somewhere and just Xeroxing. But even then, you're probably interacting with other people, with management. Remember, you've got to dig a little deeper. Don't shortchange yourself. You've done a lot more than you think, no matter where you were and what you were doing. So sales. Oh no, I don't want to be in sales. Everything's sales. Everything is sales. There's hardly a job that you'll do that isn't really sales. Even as an interior designer, what am I doing? I'm selling my designs. I'm selling myself. When you were a child, you had to sell yourself and your idea to your parents. Whenever you wanted a new toy or something, you gave them reasons why. This is why I have to have it. This is why I need it. So we all have that sales in us. So if you're in a job that's your primary function, be sure to just really hone that skill, because it really covers all the others, such as customer service, working and interacting with people. A big one, time management. Big complaint of employers, oh, they're never on time, they're always calling in, they can't come in, they have an exam, they forgot they had a test. This is a big part of your future, is that time management. And this is where you can take advantage of learning it. Maybe you're the one who stays up all night finishing that project, guilty. And guess what? Even when you're out in the real world, sometimes you're still pulling that all-nighter. But hopefully it's not because you waited last minute, you forgot about it. You have to have that time management and splitting your time between going to school, perhaps being members of clubs, having, please goodness, some kind of a social life, have that balance. But there's that time management. And your part-time, full-time, whatever job is also a priority. School, yes, number one. But that job, you made a commitment and you owe it to these people because they are signing a paycheck for you. If you can't make it, then you also owe it to them to decide, what should I do? You might even be getting into doing some kind of presentations. Maybe you have management that asks you to pull together some things and then show us what you have. Also, organization, another big one that employers love to see. And again, you might be one who has a room that you can barely open the door, but at work and getting your schoolwork together and all, you better be organized, or again, that time management and everything else is going to be like a domino and just kind of fall apart. Also, what you can gain because of having your own money, independence. Maybe not moving out or anything, but you do have that independence of not having to ask to borrow or ask, can I have, this is something I need. And maybe it's something that you know isn't that huge, but you really want it. So it gives you the independence of not having to ask, and also learning how to manage your money, again, being organized, and it also hits on time management. Will this perhaps help me with my my duties and all? Maybe I need an upgrade on my computer. It'll make you feel good that you're using your money. Networking. I know that's the word you never want to hear, and you're going to hear it over and over and over again. And guess what? Happened to me. I was also one of those, no, not networking. Joined one professional club and it changed my career, people that I know socially and in business. So it really is important. And you always want to be at your best because you never know, you might be sitting next to someone on that plane when, please, we start traveling again. And that person can end up being your next boss's daughter or something. You never know when you're having conversation what comes out. Future recommendations. Again, making those connections at that part-time job, making them absolutely know what you're worth, that you're just terrific and they feel proud to have worked with you. So you want to keep in touch. You want to be able to ask them, well, I will be looking for full-time work after this semester. Can I use you as a recommendation? And most likely they'll be delighted and flattered that you asked. All of this adds up to confidence. Just like Jan said about the Maddie's Closet, feeling the part and now gaining the background along with your wonderful schoolwork and your degrees, all it can do is add to your confidence more and more. Leadership skills. Do you work with a group? Are you in charge of something? Are you training people? All of these are things that they want to hear in the future and in the present. You might even be in school a few more years, but you're joining organizations. They want to hear that. And don't forget those organizations. All of these apply to those as well. Anything about that can be related to your studies, or again, where you're learning these wonderful skills. And it also adds up to that future internship. Or if you had an internship, these are the skills you want to be gaining, or they hired you because you've had a lot of these skills. Don't forget that volunteerism, it also counts. And staying current. Sometimes you get so caught up in school and you all talk and talk, but then you're perhaps out there, and even in the field of your choice, and you hear of new things that are happening that haven't quite hit your classroom yet. So it's a great way to stay current, not just discussing what was on Netflix or whatever, although that's current too. It's all adds up to also being able to make small talk, make conversation. Now you see I have there, were you strategic? Now by that I mean, maybe you really thought, okay, I'm going to get a part-time job, but I want to gain this particular skill. I want to learn this software that I know this company uses. I want to learn how to really become a manager. And I know that this company is known for really great training. And you'd be surprised by the companies that are known for their training. So these are also ways to look at it. I'm going to go out and find something. I want to be in medical. I should be doing something in a hospital, and find out maybe I can't stand being around that kind of smell and on and off chaos, or the emotional part of it. So this is also an opportunity to get out there. So that's what I mean when I say, were you strategic? And here are some of those transferable skills. All right, so I just worked at Macy's, what can I absolutely do? I can't tell you how many times all of us in the Career Center hear that when we're looking at your resumes and there's very little on it, and you say that, well, all I did was work at Macy's, I don't understand what else I can put there. Again, don't sell yourself short. Yes, of course, the person interviewing knows that what you do as a salesperson or a stock person, a cashier, but they want to know that you gain these skills. Can you discuss them in your interview? Can you show it on your resume? So these are the things that you can pick up from these different kinds of jobs. Again, that very important customer service. That doesn't necessarily mean in the future you'll be calling people and asking them, well, how did you like the product that you bought? Which nothing wrong with that. Nothing makes money more than sales. But straight out sales. So definitely that is a career. But customer service also means you're interaction with people. And that's what future employers want to see. Do you interact with people? Did you interact with them a lot? Again, as I said earlier, can you make also that polite little chit chat? Do you know when to not go on and on? Do you know when to stop? And they can pick that up in your interview too. You don't go on and on and on about something that's not really relevant or that important. Excuse me. Sales, again, meaning that maybe it's a product that this company has, maybe it's a service. A service is sales. Again, they have to like your service, they have to like you. Most of that part of service is the connection between the person that's helping you, not so much the what the service is. Time management, you're going to see that over and over again. Organization, confident. See, you see a theme here? It's all coming back again. It also teaches you about business. Be aware of the culture of a business, meaning that you understand what makes people tick in this particular company. Is it a company that enjoys humor? Is it a company that gets dressed up and is very formal? Are the people formal? Are they a friendly group? Do they stay to themselves? Doesn't mean you're going to find that in every company, but it teaches you how to become aware that different organizations have a different culture, and only you can decide, is it one that you feel comfortable? Do you want to be there? Business etiquette, really important. We've been losing that in recent years, and employers, especially the oldsters, they know it and they're not happy about it. Business etiquette can be anything from how you answer a phone to remembering to say good morning, to remembering, I don't care who's behind you, a man, a woman, a child, or a dog. If someone's behind you, hold the door open for them. So those are that teach not just business, but not just plain common sense as well. But business etiquette also covers things like how the people address each other, how they are how they sit down, and do they sit down in a certain order? Are they people that are so formal that they wait for somebody or everybody to sit? So you want to always be looking around and paying attention. Teamwork, real important. And the most recent generations have had a lot of that and seem to enjoy it. May change next time, who knows? But right now, teamwork is very much expected, and it is something that employers appreciate, meaning that you aren't just a lone wolf, that you can work with others, and that you can use that leadership skill if and when it's asked for, or perhaps even without being pushy, and knowing again what the company's like, using those skills, and people will appreciate it. Flexibility and adaptability. More and more companies have been downsizing, and we're probably, after this pandemic, we're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of companies may have half their staff still working from home. Sadly, they may have downsized considerably. So they want people to be able to be more than one thing. you better be able to say, oh, I can get this done, and then be able to turn around on a dime, as they say, if someone says, oh, I have a bit of an emergency, especially if it's the person that you're working under. I'm not saying you want to be a yes man. And again, this becomes part of the culture. Knowing the pecking order of a job. Who do I ask? I was just asked to do this, and now John over there, who is above me, is asking me to do this. What do I do? Well, most likely you have a supervisor, a manager, and you would go to them and say, this is what's going on. I do have the time, I can do this, but I want to find out what is it that you would like me to do? But you've got to have that flexibility and adaptability. And don't turn your nose up as if it's a chore that maybe you're not real comfortable with, like, would you please put some hot water up for the office? We're having a meeting soon. Sometimes that's just part of it. It's the, the first position or the starting position. But guess what? There'll be plenty of times that probably your manager and your supervisor will do it too, especially in this day of downsizing. We used to call it multitasking. Now they're calling it multi-jobs, multi-abilities, because they expect people now to be able to do more than one job, even not just tasks or any kind of a project. They would like you to be able to perhaps maybe you can do AutoCAD, but also you have a strong ability to do some other programs totally not related, but it will probably help you get the job and keep the job. Now, be sure if it's something you absolutely hate, you don't want them to know that you're really proficient in it. But if you want to be in that company, you and ask them, and you use it for a while if it's going to get you where you want to be. But you always want to be sure you're comfortable with it. Showing that you have the ability to learn. Maybe you worked at Macy's and you started as a stock person, and now you're a manager or you're cashiering. You show that you progressed and that you were able to change your ways, that you learned and you expanded that little warehouse position that you thought, oh, well, I'll get my hourly and hide in the back. But now it's turning into something even more interesting because you're out there and you're being exposed to more things to learn. Okay. Listening skills, a real important one. I hear this a lot from companies and managers. They'll say something and realize that the person didn't really listen. They walk away and start doing what they think, and absolutely nothing to do with what was discussed. Be sure to listen much more than you talk, especially when you're in a position that's expected. You'll have your time when you're the one that's being listened to 90% of the time. But because you started out at this level and you paid attention and learned, that's how you're going to get to that higher up position. Interpersonal. Now, these are all, as I said on the top there, work on your soft skills. The majority of these are soft skills. So interpersonal, again, how you interact with people. How do you go to someone and say, I was so sorry to hear about your dog passing away? How do you say that a good morning? Again, all very important. So that all comes under, of course, communication. You communicate with people differently. You communicate with management probably differently than your coworkers, and certainly differently than you would with your customers. And there's that word again, networking. So for soft skills, they are basically, think of it as being personal, whereas hard skills are learned and are measurable. Now, soft skills can be learned too. Most of them are learned. You might not realize it, but you're learning it from the minute you're in your parents' home. But that is the primary difference. And the soft skills a lot of times outweigh those hard skills because they can be learned. And a manager or supervisor really wants to see, how are you going to fit in this office? how are you going to be as far as learning and that flexibility and all these other goodies that I've listed here? And there's, I'm sure you're all thinking of other things. The list can go on and on. Okay. Oops. Whoa. That was interesting. Okay. We're all having technical problems these days. I think it's something about the moon alignment or something. So the bonus of part-time work to career. And so the biggest part of a part-time job, other than the money, and yes, that's certainly probably 99% of us, that's what the part-time job starts out as. We certainly need it. I was there. I certainly understand. So it can help you make a career decision. And again, don't forget that internship. A career decision in that we actually have an example in our own office. We have a young lady who worked in our office at the front desk while she was in school. Another great resource for part-time working student jobs. I'm really not sure what her major was, but after she graduated, we didn't see her or hear from her. And guess what? One day she came to our office and there we were interviewing her. She went on to be a career counselor, something she never thought about. It never occurred to her. But after doing her part-time job, she realized, wow, this is for me. So that's the other thing. You might take a job because it's a job and you look around and say, oh my goodness, I couldn't possibly do that all day. That would kill me. It might even happen at your internship, which is the good part of an internship. Learning what you don't want is as important as what you do want. So you might look around though and say, oh my gosh, I can't do this, but you know what? That looks fascinating. And you go and you talk to people and learn about it and do some research and you might find, hey, that's for me. So remember, nothing's in stone either. You'll be making changes. And every time you're at a position, you're looking around and you're learning and you're learning. Once you stop learning, sadly, you're probably 6 feet under. You've got to keep learning. That's what life's about. That's what makes life joy. So also any of these jobs, again, whether it's working at Macy's, which is nothing wrong with that, adds much to your resume. It could possibly become a full-time job if that's what you want. It could also become a full-time job during those downtimes, seasonal, Christmas, summer, so that you have a built-in full-time job and you pick up some more money. And real important, it fills the void when a position requires experience. Right up there with, but I only did sales. We always hear, well, I don't have anything to put on my resume. I have no experience. Oh, excuse me, you worked at Macy's for 4 years. That says something about you. Not only did they like you and keep you, you did that time management. You kept that job while going to school. You got a lot on the ball. I sure would want to hire you. So you want to remember that. Again, every opportunity is networking. And there's your transferable skills, soft and hard. Also, when you've had some kind of a job, you don't realize that you're more polished than the person that didn't. The one who comes straight out of school and is a bit green will probably most likely look a bit green next to the person who's been working those years. So those transferable skills, again, were the ones we listed, what you would get from those clothes that you thought was, just a waste of time and a way to make money. Well, while you were folding them, people were asking you questions. You gained that customer service. You also, perhaps you want to go into the field of fashion. You've been learning about fabrics. You've been learning how things are marked up, marked down, content of the fabric, all kinds of things. You get out of it what you put into it and what you want to get out of it. So, any questions? Told you I'm a quickie. Anything? Who's taking care of the questions, Jan?
I am.
Anna, can you launch the first poll? What is your level of knowledge about transferable and soft skills after today's session?
Wow. Oh, let's watch it go up.
All right, we love the dancing screen here. Couple more people. We're almost there.
It's great.
Okay, let's end the poll. And the majority say 80 to 100%. Fantastic. All right, let's go to the second poll, please. At what level would you be able to discuss your transferable soft skills in an interview after today's session? Wow, let's see, are we just about there? Almost. Couple more people. Very good. Okay, let's end the poll. And the majority say 60 to 80%. So that's significantly higher than at the before the session. So let's close out that poll, and we will go to the chat. And Raina, are you monitoring the chat?
Yes, I am. Yes. And
All right.
we have a question here from Cecilia. She's asking, and she was wondering how and where can you list your transferables on your resume?
That's a great question. Now I see people say that cashier at Denny's, and then they open the cash register, they close the cash register. Okay, well, the person knows, and you don't want to be too wordy about it. You can just bullet it, but you can also put it in your cover letter, having been a dedicated employee for 3 years at Denny's, and then come up with those words that weren't in your duties, that you did learn to be flexible, that you did learn time management, that kind of a thing. You wouldn't really put it on your resume. You might put it in the beginning under something like highlights. But as a new graduate with not much background, sometimes highlights can seem a little over the edge. So you do have those opportunities, though. And again, in your interview. So the cover letter can be just as important as that resume. Some people say, oh, I don't like a cover letter. I love them. It shows me you can write. It shows me that your English skills are good. And also that I know someone didn't sit down and help you bang out that resume, that you worked on that cover letter. So you want to put time into that as well. Thank you, Cecile. Okay.
Thank you, Patricia, for answering the question.
Is that it?
So far, yes. I think there's another question coming in here. It's a student indicating that they tend to come off a little friendly, but not knowing what they're doing. So studying beforehand really helps.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Yes, you don't want to come off like you're talking to your best friend, and that's where those interpersonal skills come in. You want to still be aware when you're being interviewed that a lot of times you don't really know the level of this person. Are they the one that you'll be working for? Is it just the hiring committee? But you want to be careful. You don't want to seem too familiar with them. I just want to add one story about a real transferable skills, and that would be my own. And I'm a poster child for transferable skills. Yes, I was in design for many, many years. And I also show how nothing you have studied or done ever goes to waste, because when I got into education, I didn't know if I'd ever use those skills again. And I did everything from flyers to designing Maddie's closet, which was the ultimate. But no skills are wasted. But what happened was I was in a field that was affected by recession very badly. It was part of course, architecture and design. And it was tough times. But I was a project manager a lot of the time, and project manager meaning I could run an entire project, everything from scheduling to getting the people, to getting the vendors, to having installations. So that's a lot of multitasking, flexibility, and a lot of different things going on at once. Sometimes a small scale, a single office, sometimes a large building. So I was able to take that project management and all of the learned skills from that and talk my way into a position that needed someone to put on large events. So this just shows you how you've got to sit down and make those lists. What have I really done? What is this job asking? And boy, this looks like something I would love to do. And I was fortunate. The first one was an art college, so I even had background for that. Also coming to Northridge, I've taught in the interior design department for many, many years. So you get those outlets for first love. But always remember that, oh, well, all I did was project management. Wow, you can take that anywhere. And that's what you can do with those management skills you might get, teamwork, everything we discussed. And I hope this helps you maybe visualize a little bit better.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for that beautiful response. Actually, here we do have another question. Let me see here. It just came in, and it's a student indicating that they're pursuing a career in digital marketing. However, they're currently working at a retail store while going to school. They're trying to focus on how to really highlight, I guess, their experience in the retail store to the new field of marketing.
Well, marketing, and I understand what you're saying with digital. Whenever a customer asks you a question and you say, well, you see over there that we were having a sale on that brand that you're asking for, and we're going to have an ad in the paper or online next week. That's all the beginning of marketing as well. So it's not just about, again, the hard skills. It's about the way you're speaking to people about product and such, because don't forget, you might go into the marketing or digital marketing and become perhaps an account executive or something where you're not even using those digital skills, but you know, have the knowledge and background. The other thing is, depending on where you are, take advantage, find out if they have in their place their marketing department. Sometimes people have all these things, as they say, in-house. If they do, take a lunch break or come on a day off and make an appointment maybe to see the person in charge of it and go talk to them. Talk to people. This is how it happens.
Thank you, Patricia. I think that's a really great advice. And I think many times, sometimes getting a part-time position, we're not necessarily in the field that we're trying to break into yet, but just knowing that those skills are very important and
Right.
transferable. Yeah, thank you so much. We do have another question coming up. So a student indicating they've been in retail for 8 years now, but how do they add that retail experience onto their resume?
Well, again, I don't know what the position you're looking for is, but you try to make a relationship if you can, you know, with your major or what the job is you're looking for. So say you're going into, even if it's medical, get into that part where you worked so closely with people, teams, with groups. So you've got to extract from what you did and see how it relates to the job you're looking at. Now, you may be looking at 2 or 3 different kinds of occupations. So again, as you've learned before, you can't just use one resume. Make them go towards each kind of occupation, and don't just list those same soft skills over and over again unless they're really something that you know applies to what they're looking at. Yes, they'll want most of them, but you also want to know which ones do you boost up, and that's where you take it from there.
I'm going to say thank you very much, Patricia. We need to wrap the session now. Our next session starts very shortly. You did an amazing job, and Thank you. And for those of you that attended today, the sessions will be posted on our CSUN Career Center YouTube website. So you can check out YouTube, but put in CSUN Career Center, and you'll pull up all the sessions for this week. I would also like to say this is such an important information for you to know as you move forward in your life and in your career path. One more thing, I would like to say we have an event just shortly after this at 12:30. That event is internship roadmap from start to finish. And then the last event of the day is at 2 p.m. And that is create an effective LinkedIn profile and connect with recruiters. So again, thanks so much, Patricia. And
thank all of you, and good luck to you. And don't forget to include when you've gone to special conferences and things. It all counts. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Jan.